The first leg of the Champions League between PSG and Bayern Munich ends in a 5-4 win for PSG as the Parisians triumph over the Bavarians to claim a 1-goal advantage heading into the second leg. Hello everyone, my name is TIK and this is TikTok's Football. When it was officially confirmed that PSG and Bayern Munich were going to face off in the semi-finals of the Champions League to book a place in the final, it became the match that everyone had been looking forward to, and from what we just saw in this game and from how the game played out, we might have just witnessed one of the best, if not the best, Champions League game in the history of the competition. So to start off with this football analysis, in terms of the goals that were scored, Harry Kane put Bayern Munich in front in the 17th minutes from the penalty spot, and then PSG equalized courtesy of Kvaratskhelia in the 24th minute to equalize for the home side. And then Neves made it 2-1 9 minutes later in the 33rd minute to make PSG come from behind to lead by 2-1. But then Bayern Munich still had more tricks up their sleeves, with Olise equalizing in the 41st minute to draw the game 2-2 before Dembele also converted from the penalty spot right at the stroke of halftime to grant PSG a 3-2 lead after the first 45 minutes. But then PSG came into the second half stronger and more determined, and they scored 2 quick-fire goals in 2 minutes. Kvaratskhelia bagging his brace in the 56th minute to make it 4-2, and then Dembele bagging his own brace as well in the 58th minutes to make it 5-2 for the Parisians. But Bayern Munich did not give up that easily though, as they will also score their third goal of the game in the 65th minute, courtesy of Aubameyang, and then before Luis Diaz now scored the fourth goal for Bayern Munich in the 68th minute to make it 5-4, and that was exactly how the game ended. But to progress to this football analysis, we're also going to be looking at the statistics, the tactics, and the performance that were implemented by both sides, because it will help us understand how this game truly played out. So in terms of the statistics of this game, there's so much to look up to and there's so much to talk about, because you had Bayern Munich who had more possession, with PSG averaging 43% possession, while Bayern Munich averaged 57% possession. Then in terms of the total shots and the shot on target, PSG had more shots than Bayern Munich because they attempted 12 shots while Bayern Munich attempted 10. But out of PSG's 12 shots, 5 of them were on target, and out of Bayern Munich's 10 shots, 8 of them were on target. So while PSG had more total shots than Bayern Munich had more shots on target. And this also means that Bayern Munich also had more expected goals than PSG, because PSG had an XG of 1.90 while Bayern Munich had a whopping XG of 3.06. And then in terms of the passes, PSG completed 371 passes while Bayern Munich completed 504 passes. So as we said that Bayern Munich had a higher XG than PSG, Bayern Munich also had a higher passing completion rate by even more than PSG too. So that is based on the statistics of this game. And then in terms of the tactics, first and foremost, PSG looked to set up in a 4-3-3 formation, while Bayern Munich on the other hand looked to set up in a 4-2-3-1 formation. And the most interesting thing about how this game played out is that both teams were not looking to just play safe at all. In fact, both teams were looking to attack, and we saw that right from the start. From the start, both till the full-time whistle, both teams were looking to attack, and that is why we saw this crazy amount of goals, and that's why this game ended up being a 9-goal thriller. With PSG scoring 5 and Bayern Munich scoring 4, because both teams were looking to attack, create chances, and look to score goals, and that was exactly what we saw in this game. And it was so fascinating, enjoyable, and entertaining to watch. And then in terms of the performance, I'll be pointing out on the players that I would say performed well and the players that did not perform well or that outperformed. So starting with the players that performed well, we have to look into both teams front three, beginning with PSG. Kvaratskhelia, Doué, and Dembele, they were both sensational together. Kvaratskhelia, scored a brace. Dembele scored 2 goals and assisted a goal as well, and then Doué had 2 assists. So the attacking trio of PSG were absolutely wonderful and they performed so well in this game. While as for Bayern Munich, I've also been pointing out on their own front three as well, with Luis Diaz, Olise, and Eric Kane absolutely shining. Luis Diaz scoring, Kane scoring, and then Olise constantly being dangerous down the right hand side, getting past his man, getting even against Mendes, he was absolutely balling. And we saw time and time again he was always dribbling Nuno Mendes, and it was so wonderful to watch. But then in terms of the players that did not perform well, that's when I will need to look into both teams' defense, because of course, as much as we are so fascinated that yes, 9 goals were scored in this game, but you also have to question both teams defending, because when things like this happen, that's in a game, you're seeing 9 goals scored or you're seeing 8 goals scored, you have to question how both teams are defending, their coordination, their communication, and we saw that at times both teams defending was not great today, and you can also see that even in some goals that both teams scored and that both teams considered, that defense was not good enough, and that's what they need to massively improve if one of them is to get over the line and reach the Champions League final. But yes, that's how the game ended, and that was how everything played out. So PSG win the first leg 5-4 against Bayern Munich, and it's all to play for now at the Allianz Arena. PSG on one hand will be looking to seal it off and try to wrap everything off and progress through to the final. Whereas Bayern Munich on the other hand will be looking to turn this around, make a comeback and then try to overcome PSG at their home stadium, especially with their home crowd. There's going to be so much atmosphere, so it's going to be so hostile, just as it was at the Parc des Princes in the first leg. But as always, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and let me know your thoughts on the game and who you think was your standard player. I would like to hear from you, and please, you can also give this video a thumbs up, like the video, and also share it to your loved ones, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, TikTok Football, and also click on the notification bell so that each time I post a video for you guys, you will always be notified. I appreciate you all for watching and for your attention, for your time, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.